use up too much of your time, I think.
I always have time to save souls.
Well,
We must
I'm
pay
beyond
homage to
redemption.
him.
Niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say
a former soldier that you can't see, like your senses. So invisible, he ain't even on the census. Slithers like a mamba, sicker than bacteria. That's why he calls himself COVID after a dad, G-Us. Playing lands with Dom, looking to avoid eternal. Going up in smoke, but still he's looking for the squirrels. Cause all around he knows he's nuts, like these woke commercials. But his phobia of fire led to this hurdle. City's ghost like moving out, cause of bad credit. And makes Dom and Dr. Amsterdam more dependent. As their confidence is shreds like a bag of lettuce. As they arrive, well, they'll be staying at around 7. When in his room he sees something used for leverage. Has his attention but underrates his cleverness. A Hezekiah portrait which uneases his nerves. As it's time to see the Rebbe whom he's bound to serve. Though he survived the long-term effects of quiddity. As the shots he took wounded him critically. Glad to see Dom when life here seems ruining. Thought he was Hezekiah, drugs made him hallucinate. They all joined in prayer like a packed stadium. Led by Joel Osteen, but this one's Radius. Cause it's straight to the point, have this radiance. That is Dom, sees this threat, that is mania. Now at the Western Wall where prayers are long like giraffes. Usually packed but civilizations far like Japan. Empty like a feminist house who's infertile. Concern rises and Dr. Amsterdam's eternal.
niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say
the next day he meets the Kohen who's predicate. And his interest in him, which makes him hesitant. Recites a verse about the shadows that have trespassed into his energy, thick like his mustache. Begins to cry like a side chick in a love triangle. The Kohen sticks his hand out with his sleeves dangled. For a few minutes, Dom was kind of wholesome. Until a shot splatters blood on him, real loathsome. The Kohen falls, body counts almost extended. Until he's tackled by Dr. Amsterdam, who mentions he's here, we gotta go, as COVID's aim is dead-centric on their heads, but they escape the fate of being beheaded. Panic attacks and starts to question Dom's utility. Due to his target's ruthlessness and brilliancy. Reminds him of his greatest weapon, but dignity does not exist within this one's brute activity. Or does it exist in shadow too? Now he's unsure. Is this what my enemies feel for my cure? To every single one of his sins he took a tour. Rewatches all the screens, please knows that was roared. Friends deceived as a rookie to be veteran. Without a care the devil's door he was entering. Cause his overall goal was to vesicate. Didn't care who he put in a veggie state. But nothing hit like the smack, browner than a sparrow. Ruling over his brother as it was his pharaoh. Creating repercussions colder than Tracy Merrill. As he was iced to a T like Tommy from the Arrow.
niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Niggas in Jerusalem waiting for signs. God come and shit, you taking the time. Wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say wow shit, looking at the sun don't pay. Criminal mind all the time, wait for judgment day. And they say
some people show up for the funeral adapting to being distant socially as their reactions is to get back home quick where they're captive by the fear of what's out there capping. As it darkens like the disease of Addison, Dom feels it in the pit of his abdomen to ask why is he the one, an angelican, as he's feeling yellow like the eyes of Africans. As till this day, he is still committing battery against himself as his brother's like an allergy. Makes his eyes rain more than London inside Europe As anxiety, the haunting of his conscience stirs up. The time when he robbed dimes, drop and shot it up. Pissed off his boss who told him this could start a war as such. He was dismissed and cut off. His brother felt bad. Got his act together, cleaned up. Don was glad. And then he got a phone call, was told you want back in. Bring your brother to us, said by his captain. As Don didn't want to, but then he found a gram of heroin sticking out his brother's jacket then. In a fit of rage, she set him up and he went missing. And he was never found, declared dead in 86 when he found out the gram wasn't his, it was a friend's. Who he stopped from relapsing from that friend. Dr. Amsterdam now understands why he was spared. As both are told, COVID's found by the rabbis there. As later on before the mission, Dom stares into Hezekiah's painted eyes, real scared. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Genesis 6:5.